1.
Freedom. Okay, well,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll because I'm the one actually recording. I think I can kind of fix it because I'll remember that we all said freedom and Euan said sink. Okay. Right.
Oh, well.
Got it. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, big talk of the weekend, obviously, the Anglo-Welsh Cup.
Anglo-Welsh Cup, yeah. Everyone was paying attention to that.
It was,
Yeah.
that was
5 people in the match.
well,
right?
Exeter beat Bristol X number to 7, so that was brilliant.
I mean, if I were a Welsh fan, I would show off more about the Ospreys beating Wasps than Wales beating Italy.
Yeah, because it was a strong Wasp side. Like the veterans of like Nick DeLuca and that involved, and they had Frank Ally, but yeah.
Are we? Yeah. Okay.
All the Wasp fans.
Oh, brilliant! I like that. That was
So this is the Anglo-Welsh Cup episode, right?
yeah. This is pure Anglo-Welsh Cup.
Talk about the
Nothing
one Pro
else.
12.
Yeah, it's
Nothing happened this
it's
weekend.
the cup that is so good that no sponsor wanted to get involved anymore.
Oh, LV aren't involved anymore. Damn.
No, it's
Well,
that's
they
what,
did
that's
abandon
why it's
the
called
cup,
That's why it's
Anglo-Welsh.
It's literally just
Yeah.
the Anglo-Welsh Cup. They couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, I guess they did abandon it for a year.
Yeah.
So, like, just toss
so
it
yeah,
aside for the World
I
Cup,
think-
and that's fine.
The real question. I mean, we should introduce ourselves. So it's me, Sav. We got Fred.
Yep, I'm Euan.
Fred the Frenchman, and
Hello.
Euan the Scot. And we're going to be talking about the fact that Scotland are going to win the Grand Slam. Is that the deal?
Yeah. I
No,
think
not
that's
the
the
Grand
plan.
Slam.
Not the Grand Slam?
Grand Slam.
No, they're gonna. I think
No.
they're gonna win the competition with 4 wins.
Yeah, we can't win at Twickenham. I can't see that.
No,
but
you
we'll see.
will win at Twickenham. You just won't win.
We
in
will
house.
win at Twickenham.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. We've got to decide which place we lose then.
Apparently you're going to lose to the French.
Which places?
In-
But the French could be all over the place, so yeah, we don't know. Don't know what will happen with them.
I like how he brushed it off as just
Go for that old
yeah,
joke.
okay. I don't know. There's something. The Scottish win this weekend was fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a backline that looks as threatening or as good defensively as the Scottish. To be honest.
Well, from a Scotland team anyway, yeah. Like they certainly pulled off the pace a bit in the second half. Like you can sort of see that.
Oh, they got tired. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for the first half, yeah, they were on fire, and like they hardly had any possession, which was something as well. So each time they got the ball, they made it count. It was surprising how much sloppy the breakdown was at times, because like Ireland gave up the ball a few times from knock-ons when they got tackled, and same with Scotland. So that's what like allowed Scotland to get quite a few chances often, even though Ireland had the ball for the majority of it.
I mean, I think there's been a lot. I've been seeing a lot of Irish commentators and fans and analysis about their back row not being balanced, and I don't think there would be any complaints really, because it was obvious that the Irish forwards were slightly better than the Scottish forwards, not in every aspect, but in most.
Not in the. They failed on the line out a bit. Like you would have expected Toner to secure the good ball at every opportunity, but him and Best weren't working well together.
They were not synced at all. Best was having a bit of a nightmare.
No.
Throwing in.
Like Richie Gray managed to steal 1 or 2 balls. They lost 2 lineouts in the first half. I remember that. I know Scotland lost balls as well, but like you sort of expect that against the Irish with their pack.
And the thing is, with every negative that happens for Scotland, it's kind of chalked up to you expect that.
You expect that with Scotland.
You expect that. I think the one person I was kind of half bad mouthing him in the thread, but I think Maitland defensively was absolutely outstanding. It was. I think it was almost a textbook case of that's how you scramble defense. He was covering when there was a break. He was always the man covering back. He didn't. I don't know if he didn't rely on Hogg to always make that tackle. He kind of figured that he's got to get back and sort it out. And I think I don't want to put too much on Saracens defensively, but I feel like that's where it's come from. Maybe a little bit more work harder in defence.
Yeah, and he likes the role of a fullback anyway, so I guess he wants to show he's good at defence.
That's
He's
true.
probably wanted, like, in the back of his mind, just sort of nudge out Hogg and be the sort of poster boy fullback for Scotland. That's what I can see from Maitland, but like, he works hard, and it was just a bit of a shame. Like, his one real opportunity to attack, he was obviously out of gas. It was like the 70th minute or something like that. He had a chance to sort of chase down the ball, but like, he just didn't have the gas to catch up with. I think it was Carney, maybe it was Zebo, and we could have put a lot of pressure on them in like the 70th minute just to get back in the game, because that's when we were behind still. But he was just a bit too out of gas, sadly.
I was.
But yeah, Seymour did a bit of a. Oh, sorry.
Well, no, I was just about to talk. Seymour was your pace man, really. I mean, there was a moment where Zebo tried to outpace him on the outside, couldn't, so he kicked it, and then Seymour just gallops back and took the ball. It was really, really good to see how quick he is and how dangerous that whole Scottish backline was. I'm quite interested to see how many of them make the Lions now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could certainly see Hogg and Seymour maybe getting him, because they've got a good partnership at Glasgow, and Maitland does work well with them because he spent 2 seasons at Glasgow with them. So like, it's definitely a combination that works to an extent.
Statistically, Dunbar's up there as well, because when you look at his ball carrying and everything else, he actually made and did quite a lot of work.
Yeah, he certainly he did better than his other centre partner for most of the game, I think, and he's definitely not the flashiest of centres that we have, but he does a great job defensively. He's strong ball carrier when he gets it, and a few times recently he's made a few good runs, and you wouldn't expect that from Dunbar. Usually it would usually be his outside centre partner that you'd expect to go on a bit of a run for Scotland. He's done a few against Australia, or was it Argentina? He set up a great try for Scotland. I think he set up one of Hugh Jones's tries, so I guess it must be against Australia.
Right, yeah.
And he basically did most of the work, and then Hugh Jones took all the glory. Yeah.
Fred, are you there?
Yeah, actually, I think it cut off for a minute because I was talking about one of the moments when Maitland tackled Carney, and then as soon as I heard back from you, you were talking about something else.
Oh, okay, excellent. I didn't hear a word you were saying. So do you want to talk about Maitland and Carney?
What? No, so I don't know what you were saying before. So you it cut off where you said, "Oh, Sean Maitland was really good," and I said, "Was it him that
we're going to have
got
to sort
Carney
your audio then?
into touch?"
This is going to be great fun in post. I wanted to move on to a subject that I really enjoy, is talking about fly halves. And although Ireland lost, I actually think Paddy Jackson had quite a good game.
Yeah, he was solid. Like, I don't think he did anything wrong necessarily, but like, well, he didn't get much. I don't know.
He needed
they didn't seem that potent at attack. Yeah,
they needed more go forward ball.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people blaming the back row for that, and I'm not really sure 100% if that's fair. But I did feel like Ireland were getting a lot of ball, but they weren't crossing that Scottish defensive line, and that meant that Paddy Jackson was always working against a good defensive line in front of him. It's hard to work off that. It's hard to get round it. And they did try, but at points he did go himself. Yeah, go on, Fred.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the time that he went himself and made 6-7 yards to score.
Yeah. He when he went on his own, he just got a bit fed up and went, you know what, I'm going for it, and it worked pretty well. So
it was also Bennett slightly falling off a tackle as well that kind of helped him. Like I'm not sure if Bennett was close enough from the angles I saw, but like he certainly was the closest defender at first, so like he kind of got a bit lucky there, I think, as well.
All right. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But it was definitely very good from Jackson. Yeah. Like, he picked out well.
So on the other side of the corner, I thought Russell, and when Weir came on for 10 minutes, did he, or maybe a little bit less even?
A few, like 5 minutes or so, and just did one wonder kick and then went off again.
Absolutely, one of the best kicks I've seen on a rugby pitch. To be honest, there was barely any space behind the winger, and it just bounced right before the line went off, and he just waved at the crowd, and Russell came back on.
Yep. It's easier than that. But you can tell he's a former footballer. Like, he was in the Celtic academy for a while, and then he finally picked rugby, and that's his one strongest point for Scotland is his kicking. Like, he won us a game against Italy in Rome like 3 years ago with a brilliant drop goal from way out, and that's his all his highlight packages are of him kicking basically.
I honestly didn't know he was a Celtic convert.
Yeah,
that's quite interesting. Danny Kerr had trials for a professional team, I think, as well at one point.
Didn't he play in academy with Vardy?
Yard, and I don't think Marlon Yard did football.
I think he did. He not?
Not as a.
I thought he was playing football as well.
Well, he might have done. I can't remember him playing as a schoolboy, but I don't really know.
On the other side of things, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had tryouts with London Irish before picking football.
Did he? I think I'd heard that before, actually. But to be fair, for footballers, he's reasonably stocky, so, or at least a little bit. He's got a little bit.
I've seen it described.
Yeah, pull out having.
He certainly had his heart in football. Yeah, poor him.
Yeah, pulling in that wage check. He only gets off the bench for Arsenal. Anyway, that's a separate thing. What we need to move on to, because we're going to end up talking about Ireland and Scotland forever, is perhaps bring Fred in and say how were France so frustrating against England? What made that happen? Because I really can't pinpoint anything apart from they're all huge, which the commentators kept saying. What really frustrated
Well, I was at the
England?
pub, so I didn't hear the commentators. I was just shouting at the TV and at people mostly.
Oh, okay.
And Jean-Marc Toussaint, of all people.
When you're the resident Frenchman in the pub, you've got to be louder than everyone else combined. And obviously, there's always a couple of Kiwis and Welshmen helping. But it's funny how the hatred of England really brings people together.
It's one of the Six Nations defining features. I mean, the advert that everybody bangs on about, obviously, is a favourite. And it is reasonably true when you all sit in the pub. Go on.
Yeah, so what Eddie Jones said before the game was quite true with the big front row, obviously, even though he went for an even bigger front row than usual with Antonio at tight head, who usually comes from the bench and was starting this time, I think, to put extra power, because Slimani is the better player. But they thought maybe this time we need some extra power in there. So Antonio was starting. Obviously, the second row doesn't have much subtlety about it. When you have Maestri and Vermeer, you know what you're going to get, and what you're going to get is fucked.
Slimani did come on though, and he sort of saved you in the scrum, like when you had a scrum right on your 5 metre line.
Yeah.
And England were really pressuring you, and then you got a penalty against the head, and that I guess it was the impact of a fresh sub as well, because both subs came out on the 45th minute, and I guess it was sort of
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, they came in very early, just on the 45th, start of the second half, and I think that was premeditated to have those guys, because they're the guys on the bench were at least as good as the guys starting, so they played half the game. And at the back row, I think for me is the interesting thing. It's because all four back rows, so the three starters and the guy on the bench, are all number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole squads for all back row players, they all came through at least as number 8s, because I looked this up the other week, and it's ridiculous how many number 8s France have been picking for the back row. It just seems to be a thing at the moment.
Yeah, and I think those. So there's a few aspects to that.
I think
one,
go on.
Yeah. One is that Shuli plays flanker all the time, so he's used to being played on the flank at Clermont because they've got Fritz Lee. And Gordon is an interesting one because he's not that big for a number 8, but he's very powerful and he's always going forward. So you've got those three guys who maybe are not the best necessarily at the breakdown or even at the tackle, but they're such good ball carriers that you get an extra go forward from that. So I think the tactic against England was to put them on their arse, and hope that was going to be enough.
And it nearly worked. I mean, our back row, and I love Itoje, but I mean, he's not a ball carrying back row particularly. He's a bit too rangy for that.
Maybe too tall, yeah.
Yeah, he's a little bit too tall for that, and so the problem is that when you've got him at 6, he's brilliant. He hits every breakdown, and he will carry the ball, and he's not bad. But when it's a really heavy game where you're smashing into each other, you need someone who's a little bit shorter, to be honest with you, to be able to get to ground quicker and keep the ball flowing out the back.
Well, Picamoles is very tall as well. Row.
Picamoles is I think Picamoles is a slightly different beast because everything about him is big.
Yeah, he's a fridge.
I mean, everything about Itoje is big as well, but he's not. I don't think he's. I mean, I don't know what to call it. His trunk. Yeah, he's way more athletic. He's a little bit, not delicate, but just I don't know, got a bit more finesse to it. But then again, Picamoles has amazing amount of finesse as well. But you know what I mean?
Such a
Itoje's dead delicate. I mean, he does write poetry.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
It's one of those things that he may have done like 5 years ago once.
He's written it once.
And it's been, it's been the thing. I wanted to add, we even had a 5th back row wearing 15 on his back.
Oh, I mean, Spedding.
Spedding.
Jesus.
Yeah, basically the size of him, yeah.
He was huge.
What a game he had. And
he would... Fuck me.
And funnily enough, I wasn't really surprised by his strength when he put Farrell on his ass. I'm not that impressed by that because you expect that from him. Given how big and South African he is. But what I thought was amazing was his turn of pace. A couple of times there was a break by one of the wingers, and he came for support from anywhere, from nowhere, just faster than everyone else. I was really impressed by his sprint.
It looks like he's put on weight recently as well.
He's bulky as hell. He is bulky as hell.
Yeah.
The interesting thing for me was he did that massive smash, obviously, on Farrell. But Farrell didn't see... Well, I mean, Farrell obviously cared that he got smashed, but then he did exactly the same sort of tackle on Picamoles. And it kind of worked.
Farrell doesn't care. The rugby league mongrel came out of him when he saw Picamoles running at him.
Yeah, it really did.
It was really impressive. I don't know. The thing is, somebody put the video saying it was a high shot, and because there was no replay on it, you can only see it from far away. I can't really tell. It could be high. It could be. I mean, fine.
Picamoles he was appealing it just after the tackle when there was kind of that weird maul situation
his head
where
went
no
back.
one knew. Yeah, he was.
Then England won possession.
He was appealing for the ball. I mean, yeah. It was impressive physical feat.
Didn't quite drop the ball, but literally let it go after the hit. Kind of, there was the hit and everything stopped, and he just stopped playing.
Yeah,
as if he was expecting. He was expecting, a card or at least a penalty on the straight away.
So. Here's the next thought. Because we've moved through the French front row and kind of talked about Picamoles a bit. Do you feel like the French need a backline that actually has a bit of penetration?
Right. So the backline. So I'm really happy with the back three.
Well.
I thought they were all excellent.
Back into our
and I thought Lamarat was really good, and Lopez was really good. And Soran was really good. So there's only Fiku who was still had a fairly decent game. And so even though not having Fofana is a big loss, but I think the biggest loss was when Haskell came on and he smashed into Lopez. Everyone saw that.
Yeah.
And my reaction to that was not, Haskell hurt someone. My reaction to that is, fuck, Dusan is going to come on.
I guess what he did when he came on.
And what does he do when he comes on? Doesn't find touch.
That was unbelievable.
That was shocking.
Yeah, I was gunning for it, and then he just ruined it for France. You should have given Spedding of all people and let him have a go from that far.
Literally anyone. I think Dusan was shit at night for France. then was out of the squad. He's come back at 10, and he's still shit.
He doesn't. Well, he seems to be starting quite a lot for Toulouse at the moment. I've been noticing
He's
that. Like
starting
Toby
a lot,
Flood
you're
hasn't
right,
been playing. Yeah, which like Toby Flood and Luke McCaster still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't seem to be starting at 10 much at all.
No,
And
it's too sad.
if Toby Flood starts, he's at 12, and often it's been Jan David or Florian Fritz that have been starting there recently as well.
Do you reckon that's FFR led though? Do you reckon that's FFR led? As in they're saying, look,
the FFR has absolutely no power whatsoever.
Really? Okay.
None
I mean,
whatsoever.
there
The FFR
has
doesn't have
been
as
a lot
much
of talk
money
about that.
as the clubs. So the clubs dictate everything they want because they have the money, and it's all about money in French rugby. So
fair.
no, the FFR has no say in it. I think there must be something about him, about Dusan, that they see in Toulouse. Because I don't think that the fact that it's Guy Noves who is the French coach, I think, is the reason why he's in the French squad. Because they must know he must be so good at directing the game or so good at doing something else, because we can't really see it. So there's got to be something that the coaches are seeing. It might be
communication. He might be really good at that communication. That could be his strength. So I mean, so you're happy with the back line then, really?
I'm quite happy with the choices made. Yeah, I don't think we have many options, but I'm pretty happy with the choices that the management have done recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, like, how many choices do you have at 10, like good quality French 10s? Because you've got Jules Plisson if you want to go for him, but I don't know who else. Like, there's not a huge number of good French 10s out there.
Plisson's not playing particularly well at the moment. He's all right.
Yeah, I know.
He's not
Power
the best
at 10,
option.
mate. Bring him back.
Paris just not playing 10, so why would he? Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, because he's playing with Lopez, and Lopez,
and he plays with Lopez.
They should have
as
just
well.
went for that club back.
So Lopez is really our only hope at the moment. There's Bernard who plays for Toulon, but he's probably too old. I'm not sure how old he is, but he's been in the top 14 for ages. Never quite made the French squad. Probably called a couple of times, but I don't think he's got a cap.
Yeah, and he's often pointed out it's like the weak link, the Toulon backline. I've seen that.
And obviously our other option is Tranduk when he's fit. He's not quite fit.
Oh, you're a big Tranduk fan, anyway.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Tranduk fan.
So is Spedding your long distance kicking option?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was just thinking
he's quite good actually, but he's no Elliot Daly, but he's.
I was going to say,
range.
Daly's that extra string on England's bow when Daly's on the pitch is really really useful. As soon as that penalty came out,
all around anyway.
He played really really well. And I think, I know Eddie Jones wanted a fast winger and a workhorse, and Daly was picked as the workhorse. But
did you see how fast he was?
Yeah, exactly. I think he's quick enough to be the quick one, and then stick Noel on the other one.
He was so fast.
Stick Noel on the other wing, and Daly can be the fast guy.
Yeah.
I don't think May played badly though.
Is there any way that Daly could have done better when he had that attempt on the win? Like, he was just out. Like, do you think he could have cut inside? I can't really remember it that well, but
the only thing. Okay,
it was a great try-saving tackle, I must say, and he made one on Naki Tathi. Fuck, I can't say his name properly.
He saved it, yeah.
Just before, so they 1-1 on these. They basically both saved an almost certain try on each other.
Well, not only that, I mean, the only way I can see that try being finished, for example, if Daly was Piatau or if Daly was Sevilla, maybe he bumps him and scores. But I mean, I don't think any amount of pace would have saved that. He comes from the side
and from almost behind. He just gets his leg. I think he would have gotten anyone out.
I think it was a very good recovery.
It was really good tackle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
I did get a little bit annoyed that Clive Woodward after the game was like, a proper winger would have finished that, and I was thinking Daly's pretty damn good at finishing. Like, to me that was complete bullshit. Someone who doesn't really understand the skill set that Daly has, trying to comment on it, but yeah.
But also, I mean, if you're looking at the entire game from England's perspective, if you're going to look at something that didn't go right, that is definitely not the one time.
No. Well, what didn't go right? I mean, there was
in the forwards.
There was a breakdown
in
in communication in the forwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the forwards were the ones that almost lost the game for England, not the backs.
Yeah, I think Tom Wood internationally, not that he doesn't work hard enough, but there's something lacking. The communication for the lineouts was obviously a complete mess. I mean, I don't even know what happened for that quote unquote lineout. That was just awful. So Hartley and Law's communication there was obviously not working very well.
No, I think they wanted to do the same as Scotland. They just forgot to have Farrell in the line.
Well, no, because
Farrell there.
that was a brilliant try, by the way. I haven't seen it. Well, we've seen
it
before
when
they put backs in there and do the 8-man push, but with all the backs as well coming in late.
Yeah.
But to have the backs in there to begin with, and to just say, yeah, we're going to do a 10-man push anyway.
But Dunbar is one of the few backs that can sort of pull off being a forward or a flanker. Like, there's a few centres like Matthew Bastow that can pull off being a prop maybe and just sort of hide in there. But Dunbar,
I think they noticed him. It's just the fact that they were expecting the push, and so they looked at who was going to be a central. You know, in this case, you see.
I think it was.
How far was it? 5 meters away. You see, there's extra men in the line out. It's a 7. There's an 8 men. Was it 8?
I think there was 8 men
in the line out.
Yeah.
You're thinking it's going to be a middle ball to the tallest fucker, and it's going to be a push. So you're preparing for the sack. You're not going to jump. You're not going to compete.
And Furlong turned his back because he was expecting to have to stop an instant drive.
Exactly. And that's why it was such a good move.
There's a graphic in the Times, and it does show Furlong and how they both moved it inside, and they leave a gap between the front pillar and Furlong's got his back to him. Yeah, it's pretty. They're focusing on that fair bit in the papers.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, it was a very innovative move, because even if it goes wrong, Dunbar then gets stopped, and you've still recovered the ball. So I mean, it's almost a no loss situation.
Well. It's a risky one in the sense that the guy at the front can always, especially if it's Toner, Toner at the front, can always catch it with his hands up. Literally just put his hands up because he's so tall. But it's so inventive and well done and chosen at the right moment. I thought he was really, really brilliant.
Yeah.
Toner just seemed a bit sloppy all game, I thought. So I'm not surprised they would miss something like that.
So, I commented in the match because we were talking about England's poor line-out to begin with. And obviously now we know that Cruz is out quite long term. He's going to miss the Six Nations probably. And he was the line-out caller, I think. Well, he's the line-out caller for Saracens. I think he was the line-out caller for England as well. And now that's been given to Laws.
No,
I think that's a big loss, but I don't know.
Could be wrong, but I read that Itoje was the one running the line out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why was
that seems to be a big difference.
Everybody in the thread was telling me, "Oh, Laws can't come off. He's calling the line out," and I was just thinking to myself, that's not a good enough reason to not bring someone off the pitch.
Yeah, and you'd think a rugby team of the level of England can have anyone calling the line outs.
Yeah, but not only that.
Jeff Parler was kept in England set for ages because he was the main line-out specialist. I remember that. Even though he probably didn't offer much elsewhere, he was the one that would sort of call the line-outs for ages.
The mighty Jeff Parling of Exeter is. Yeah, I mean his main strength has always been the line-out, which is why I think Baxter decided to try and teach him how to maul as well. Which is worked out, but yeah, I can see that point of keeping someone who obviously has the rhythm and knows when to call the right calls in a line out. But I was getting a bit frustrated with that being the only reason we would keep Laws on the pitch. He turned up in the end and played quite well. I don't think he was the problem necessarily, but it wasn't a good reason to keep him on the pitch, to be honest with you.
No, I just
Go
doubt
on,
that
Fred.
it really is a reason to keep him on the pitch.
No, it's not.
I don't think that's. I don't see Eddie Jones telling his players, "All right, we're going to have one person that can call the line out, and the others are useless."
Everyone else stay quiet.
Really don't. Yeah, I really don't think that's his way of doing things.
Yeah, and all players that make the England team have got a certain amount of leadership to them, because usually they are sort of figures in their own club. They should be doing something like this, like a leadership role, back when they go to the club. So it's not something that you should expect, like just to have all the onus on one or two players in an England squad.
Yeah,
I massively agree with that.
pretty much.
One thing I
now
saw
we've
in
kind of done England.
Go on.
Oh well, we've kind of done
only
England.
one thing on England that I thought was interesting, and it proved really efficient, was the what Eddie Jones called the finishers. So he doesn't call them substitutes or subs or replacements. He calls them finishers. So you've got 15 starters and 8 finishers.
That's quite. I like that way of thinking. Obviously, I like that way of thinking about it because it kind of sums up how this England team ended up working out. They brought on the finishers and they completely changed the game. It worked.
Exactly.
It worked very well.
Yeah, and I think that was just the right substitutions at the right time. And I think if you listen to the podcast before this one, I thought personally that Daly and Tio would be the two backs on the bench, because I figured it was Nolan Tio in the end, but I figured it would be Daly and Tio, because I figured that Daly could cover all the positions and then Tio could cover 12. And that was the only 2 subs that we actually needed in the back line, because that's the way we would play. It worked out so...
You probably would have been right if...
Tio can go to 13 as well, surely.
He can, but he's not... I don't really like him at 13, but yeah, he can.
Yeah.
He doesn't suit an English
gonna
style.
Come on, if you have a player like Tio, he's either starting at 12, or he's only coming on for 10 minutes.
To smash the ball and score the try, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
If you actually notice,
which is what he did.
The moment he came on was really interesting for me, because he came on and he was looking for contact, similar to how Sonny Bill would, and then looking for an offload. If you notice, it was always in one hand and he was looking to try and offload, and I don't know if that was the idea. The idea was to, all game, we weren't really doing that. We weren't really looking for offloads. And then suddenly in the last 10 minutes, the finisher would come on. And then suddenly the game changed and he offloads the ball and we score. I think that was the idea.
It's possible, because you can create surprise just with extra energy, extra speed at this moment of the game. You can create surprise by changing a little bit the way that they play.
That's what I think he was going for. I mean, it ended up that he ran in reasonably unopposed. But
who was to tackle Tail though, like with his massive forearm?
Yeah. Well, it did seem unopposed, because he came in at full tilt against a tiring defence that was trying to shift, but he did have to make 6 or 7 meters to actually score, and he did very easily. It was a really good try, and actually I was quite impressed with George Ford. I thought he was quite good all around.
I liked Ford as well.
But in this situation, that you've got to take either Ford or Farrell out, and I think they take Ford out, because in the case they have a penalty to score, they need Farrell
will knock it over. Yeah. The other point I'd like to make is that Ford defensively, there was a 2-on-1 and a couple of other tackles where he had to make those tackles, and it was against a big ass forward who was going to trundle over him, and every single time Ford either delayed them long enough or actually made a really good tackle. Defensively,
I was impressed by Ford. Like Ford is, I brought this up in the last week. Like, in a way, I think Ford isn't maybe the future for England. Like, I think maybe someone else should maybe replace him in the future and have Farrell either move back to 10 or someone to work with Farrell otherwise. But like, he's weird. He's really inconsistent though. Like, he's some of his club games recently. He had a horrible game against Newcastle, but then I think he pulled off a great good game against Bristol. And he's a frustrating player, I think, at times.
He likes go forward ball. I think that's really the key. He loves go forward ball, and I think with Vunipola on the pitch, and with Haskell and Vunipola on the pitch, that he gets go forward ball. And as soon as that exists, and England are in a position of great strength, to be honest with you, it's an unstoppable force almost.
He likes to be going forward, and he's all about the confidence. Really, I think that's why he's playing so. He's so up and down for Bath. It's because of the whole situation of the club, and I mean his personal relationship with the club, and maybe at Leicester, it's going to be a different story.
You reckon a return? Has he actually gone?
People keep on talking about a swap between him and Burns.
I thought I heard it was done. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but there's
been so much talk that it's done. He's gone to Sale. It's done. He's gone to Leicester. It's done. He's gone to blah, and he's not actually.
I would like believe it. Yeah.
I thought, God, who's the idiot yesterday who told me that it was finally done? And I was really surprised because I thought I heard it was impossible because Bath wouldn't let it because of something in his contract.
Bath, I don't think Bath want him to go to Leicester, but
no,
maybe they'll allow him to go to Sale. But I don't know if he wants to go to Sale because Sale could theoretically still go down, I think.
And
they could go down to the Championship. No, I don't. Well, I think that's unlikely.
It's unlikely, but I mean theoretically they still could. So, yeah. I mean, there's still a reasonable amount to play for in the relegation fight, and with the Six Nations, there's a lot of players missing, and Bristol could start winning games.
Aren't Quins behind Sale actually at the moment?
Oh yeah, but Quinn, I wouldn't mind if Quins get relegated. Yeah. That'd be interesting as well.
Yeah, just for the drama that we'd have on the pod, that would be brilliant.
Just to piss Ed off.
That would be hilarious.
Did you hear me?
And Alex.
Yeah, did you just hear me ripping into Quince the whole time for the last podcast?
No.
It's like brilliant. He didn't like how Edinburgh's only good games of the season have been against Quins. Those are the only exciting Edinburgh games I've watched.
Brilliant.
Should we talk about
we should talk about Wales and Italy, shouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So just before we go on to that, or part of going on to that, which do you think was the worst game of the weekend?
It was Wales Italy. Yeah. I think France England.
First half of France England.
I don't understand why people found England France to be a shit game. Maybe as a neutral, but I thought the excitement was really up the entire game. Even if they messed up things, I thought it was really exciting.
I mean, I don't know. I suppose Euan's the neutral party.
I'd say a neutral rugby fan would be interested in it, but like someone that's not really a rugby fan, like, because there wasn't many tries, there wasn't many exciting, flashy. Well, it was enough. It was back and forth. Like it wasn't like it was like pick and go, just like what you get like from about 5-7 years ago, like when there would be collapse scrum after collapse scrum.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff to keep you interested as a rugby fan, but like for non-rugby fan, definitely. Well, from what I saw of the first half, I think that might be quite boring for some people.
There was an element. The only thing I'd give the Wales Italy game is that there was an element of excitement when we all thought that Italy could win.
Oh yeah.
When Italy were in the lead and they scored that try, and there was no. I was kind of like, yeah, this is actually a good game, but then it just tailed off. Like I don't really know. And then in the second half, after 60 minutes, it wasn't boring, but it was kind of like, okay, Wales are going to win this now.
Yeah, and it was a case of hoping they didn't get a bonus point out of such a shit game.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I had Liam Williams in my fantasy team, and he scored, and it wasn't even a good try. I mean, North's try was a good try. Individual try. And Liam Williams' try was more of a team effort that he managed to go over. But I don't know. I didn't feel like Wales controlled the game at all in any way, shape, or form. It was kind of.
I really liked Jonathan Davis's try. That was something special, I thought.
Yeah, that was.
Scott Williams did well with that.
Scott Williams step inside a dummy and then he gave it out. That was fun. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. That was a good That was
Yeah.
reasonable amount of patience shown by Scott Williams, to be fair.
Yeah, that's good. It was improvisation really because Davies was being smashed. Managed to get the ball out, which is quite impressive, and then Scott Williams didn't panic and made the try.
Yeah.
So it was a nice try. But what I was thinking during the George North try is this is definitely his last run of the game.
Oh yeah,
He
he's
was
not going to be
limping,
able to
and
do it
it
again.
was-
Yeah.
And you were thinking at this point, as soon as he scores, the game is over. Just take him off. There's no point. No point keeping him on the pitch.
He George North. I mean, I don't. They had that VT beforehand. It's interesting to hear him talk about the concussion, and the whole drama surrounding it, and how he has to focus on the doctors and the specialists that he talks to, and if he listens to the media, he's going to drive himself insane. And to be honest with him, he's completely right. If he listened to every opinion piece on him, he would probably go mental. And if he listened to this podcast, he'd probably get quite annoyed. But he does seem to be made of glass at the moment, just with everything. In the same way that Tuolangi is, they're both awesome players. But it's kind of frustrating to watch some of the best players in the world not be able to keep playing at that level.
But the thing is, with North, it's always like quite short-term injuries. Like he's out for a few weeks in the back,
Yeah,
but he
it's
did
true.
have one big sabbatical. And with Tulani, it's just like suspension after suspension. Hits a police officer, he's suspended. And then it's all those stupid things. So it's partly his fault as well. It's not like
Yeah, it's true.
people
It's
need
true.
to
I mean,
remember he did.
North is more likable, shall we say? I mean,
Uh-huh.
Tuolangi's got the cheeky chappy. He tries to get away with stuff, but yeah, he's been in a fair cop of
Jumping into a harbour and things like that.
being a bit
That's
of an idiot.
chappy.
For me, it's the fact that clearly George North wasn't very hurt. But you're risking making it worse when if you take him off at this moment, you put some ice on it. He might just have pulled a muscle a little bit and be absolutely fine the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if he carries on and sprints full pace at people with a niggle, he's gonna make it worse.
They got the win. They got the points difference, but North may have made it worse for no bonus point, which is, that's the problem, I think. If they got the bonus point, then the Welsh setup might have rationalised it as that's why he was on the pitch. But that didn't quite happen.
Yeah. I don't think they deserved it. They deserved the win. Obviously, they were the better team, and people were getting really angry at the ref. I thought he had a perfectly decent game. Italy just if one thing was good from the Welsh squad, it was their discipline. They didn't give any penalties, nothing. That's quite impressive.
Yeah. And to have that front row of Samson, Lee, I mean Francis came on in the end, and to not give away penalty after penalty with people like that on the pitch is actually quite impressive. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
How was Nicky Smith for Wales? Because I didn't see, since I've only really seen parts of it, I didn't really see how Nicky Smith did, because he's been doing pretty well for he's been doing pretty well for Ospreys recently, but he's not played that much for Wales.
I honestly couldn't tell you how he did. I was watching Jake. Was it Jake Ball in the second row quite closely?
Yeah.
Because I've heard good things about him. So I was actually trying to focus on him quite a lot and see how he would step up, because obviously he's got Alan Wynne-Jones beside him, and he's not really known on the international scene very well. And they've
got Charteris, who's the usual starter.
Yeah, and I think he played quite well. He wasn't amazing, but his ball carries were quite useful, and he was getting in the right spots. Nicky
this
Smith.
is a bit of an obsession for me, but
Yeah, go on.
yeah. I was going to move on to your subject, because I've got a little bit of an obsession with the Welsh locks, because they've got very little depth. After Jake Ball, Luke Charteris, and Alan Wynne-Jones, because who did he put in after that? They've got that Corey Hill guy that's coming in from Dragons.
Is Bradley Davies no longer?
Yeah, he is still around, but I don't think he's getting that many games for the Ospreys. He's back at Ospreys now.
All right.
And He's maybe had a few, but I think he's also getting it on a bit of age as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they lost Dominic Day to is Dominic Day to Japan, and it's just like if you look at teams like if you look at Cardiff, if you look at Scarlets, if you look at Dragons, etc., their locks are pretty poor compared to like a lot of the other teams that they come up against. So they've not got much choice.
So do the Welsh? What will be interesting is if Alan Wynne-Jones goes on tour, which he will, to Lions, Wales will have a team with new locks, pretty much. I suppose we'll find out then who they want to draft in, and whether they have to pull from the Dragons or from somewhere else.
Where are they going on tour this summer? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to.
Because last time they
go on.
No, last time they lost to Japan. Remember when the Lions tour was on in Japan, and that was seen as a big thing at the time. Like it was like a third string Welsh side.
I was going to say the first and second string Wales were on tour with the Lions. Where this is not going to happen this year, I don't think.
Wales really don't have, and I don't know. I mean, the Ospreys are actually playing really, really well. But the Welsh regions, in terms of depth, they're not providing as much as. For some reason, the Irish depth is a lot stronger. Not stronger, I mean, in every position, but as generally as a team, for some reason, the Irish depth is a lot stronger than that Welsh regional depth right now. You've got Ulster.
Yeah, but the Irish always have like.
That's because the worst team in Ireland is Connacht, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're still good. Yeah. Whereas the worst team is obviously. Well, actually, I don't know who is the worst team at the moment in Wales.
Dragons.
The Dragons.
Dragons, definitely.
All right.
Almost as bad as Edinburgh.
But that's interesting to me because I feel like Scotland have more depth.
It's just because of Glasgow. They basically just put in the Glasgow team, and that's it. With a few select Edinburgh players, for a while it was like the Glasgow team plus the Edinburgh front row, and that was your Scotland side. Brennan, Maitland, Brennan, Richie Gray. That's it. Like it is a good cohesive team, but then like after fly half, we've not got many choices. Basically, our two choices are Russell and Weir, and then who do you pick after that?
That's true.
Pete Horn, who's a centre. You can move him into 10, or you can go and get someone like who's been out in like God knows where, like Tom Heathcote, like who's playing for Worcester and he's been injured half the season.
Is Horn the guy who came on at 10 recently and was really good? Like he came on early in the game because someone was injured. I've memory of the guy I didn't know came on at 10 for Scotland who was really good. Maybe it was in the autumn, maybe it was last year.
Name of Finn Russell.
Did it? No. Finn.
Yeah,
I know.
Finn Russell's been starting all the games
for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I think maybe
I can't remember if he came on or not.
Yeah, maybe he got injured.
He's been doing well for Glasgow. Horn. He's had a few good games for Glasgow in 10, but I'm not so sure about it for Scotland.
Because he's going to have to think about it, because there's not much space in the centre in Scotland. You've got so many good centres. Right now you had... so who was starting yesterday? Today. On Saturday. It was Dunbar Bennett.
Dunbar and Jones. No, Dunbar and Jones.
Dunbar and Jones, sorry.
On the bench.
Then you have Bennett. You have Duncan Taylor, and you have Matt Scott.
Matt Scott.
Guys,
that's
I
five
have
guys
news.
that can start.
I have news. Hugh Jones has just signed for Glasgow Warriors.
Oh, great!
So there you go.
Well, that's annoying from an Edinburgh point of view.
Was he not already there?
It's been basically penciled for a while, but now there's pen on paper, and they've just tweeted about it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I mean, if you're Hugh Jones, obviously you're going to go to Glasgow.
Oh yeah. If you've got the option between Edinburgh and Glasgow, you're probably no offense,
or playing outside of, and if he wants to be an international, there's a team that's dominating in their local competition. It's such.
It probably means choice. Edinburgh getting Bennett though.
So hello, let's have a look, see if that's in the comments. Edinburgh getting Bennett.
Yeah, people are talking about it.
I hear Bennett is going to Edinburgh, not Falcons. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a shift, and Bennett was pretty much the starting 13 for a long time, and obviously Hugh Jones is coming in now and trying to take that spot.
He might be away quite a lot playing sevens.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Not that much. He doesn't really play for Scotland Sevens. Like, it's only really when he was going for the Olympics.
It's just for the Olympics, yeah.
He was an Olympian,
Yeah,
mate.
uh-huh.
He wanted. Well, he got silver, did he?
He's got a silver medal. Yeah, that's not too bad. Can you
That's
think
pretty
of
cool
any
to put on the
Scotsman
mantelpiece.
who's won more than that? Apart
Andy
from
Murray's won his gold, didn't he? I was talking about this the other day. Well, we spoke about this the other day, but there is no other tennis player. Well, I couldn't name the second tennis player in Britain.
He's a Scot as
There's
well.
Murray.
I forgot
It's
which-
Jamie Murray.
No, well, there's
Yeah.
Jamie Murray, yeah, but he's not really an individual. I should know this because he got quite far in the Australian Open. Surprisingly, he got to about the same level as Andy Murray.
And you have
really?
a
'Cause
woman
anybody
that's doing really well as well.
Conta,
Yeah, there you go.
Joanna Conta.
We've
There you
got Heather Watson as well. She turns up, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I love Euan's aha.
I
don't know,
There you
I
go.
don't know
Top
why.
Spin podcast.
Live. That was a PlayStation game, wasn't it? It might have been
Yeah.
Xbox as well.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Can we all talk about Roger Federer now?
Oh man,
Yeah.
the man is suave, eh?
Yeah.
Are we moving into a tennis podcast?
It's now a
Yeah.
Top Spin podcast.
Right, so-
Now, can we talk about Campagnaro being amazing?
Major tennis players, what position would they play in rugby? Obviously, Federer's going to be a 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Federer's marshalling the troops.
Nadal would be
Nadal
like
7?
centre. Nah, he's the centre because
he's
like
a bit
look
of a
at,
mad
look at his
dog,
guns.
He's a bit of a mad dog. I could see him at 12 or 7.
Yeah.
Remember, we're not going to
Djokovic
get many
fullback?
bulky. We're not going to get many. Oh, is it Isner? Isner's definitely second row.
Yeah, second row.
And Raonic, the Canadian boy who Murray went up against in Rio, he's huge.
Is it Fish? Fish is pretty
Is it-
small. I put him at 9, maybe. I don't know that. I don't know that many. I've kind of fallen off the tennis scene, to be honest with you. Not that I was ever on the
Sharapova
tennis
for
scene.
the other second row.
Sharapova, Venus Williams, second row. She's pretty tall, isn't she?
This-
Yeah, and Serena, number 8.
Serena at number 8.
Have heard about that, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, she's probably pretty quick.
She's got the skills and the size.
Power. That power comes
Hey, they
from
maybe
the
got a
thighs.
few tips from the Sevilla brothers. Because you saw they had a
Oh,
tennis
yeah,
match
yeah.
against the Sevilla
Oh yeah,
brothers.
of course. Of course. I'd forgotten about that. So I don't know where we'd fit Djokovic in. 15?
Fullback.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15. That sounds right.
Yeah, stick him at 15. He covers anything. He retrieves everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think-
So what were you saying about Campagnaro?
So it kept coming up in the thread. Why is Campagnaro not playing? It's because he hasn't played much for Exeter. Blah. Oh, why is he at Exeter? This is kind of pointless. He should be at a different club. I was kind of sitting there going, it's not the point. I didn't really know how to describe it. So Exeter as a club have 2 incredibly strong teams. We got to the final of the Premiership last year and the A team completely obliterated the level below because we have 2 incredibly strong teams. So for me, Campagnaro being in that squad alone kind of indicates that he's good enough to play. I didn't know how to describe that to people though because it didn't make any sense in my own head, never mind trying to describe that in written form. And he's come back from injury and he has scored a hat-trick last week or 2 weeks ago and he's playing really well. So I don't know, maybe it's
I'd say he only has got chances in this last year though. Like he's like last season he was nowhere. Like you hardly saw him.
Wasn't
that's
he
true.
injured for quite a bit of it?
He was injured
Yeah,
from
but he was fit for the majority.
yeah, he was in. I think he was injured from March or April or something, until this October or November or something. He was injured for a while anyway. And I
He's slowly
agree.
come
Chances.
back, and now he's back to starting positions at Exeter, no?
He's back. He's on the bench. They put him on the wing for a game. The problem is that obviously competition at Exeter is really high, and I think one of the things that Baxter said is we've got the strength in depth where we can play against a Premiership level team in training. and not all clubs can do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, he's
Could see that to extent with extra.
his respect. I think the thing is that the respect is the idea is that we have 2 Premiership level teams that are able to play, and the fact that Campagnaro is within that squad anyway is kind of an indicator that he's good enough to start. It's just whether or not Baxter picks him on the day, because that's just the way extra is. But anyway, he's playing well, and Campagnaro probably does deserve to start for Italy, in my opinion. But there you go.
Yeah, I think he should as well.
Yeah, it's a shame he can't really have a day in day out partnership with Maurici anymore, like he did when he was at Treviso. Like Treviso aren't the best team, but they're good. They're good at home usually. And, like they're certainly trying to do that, obviously, because he had Benvenuti and Luke McLean going together. But even that, it was a weird partnership for the Wales game, because I think usually Scarby starts at inside, and then it's Benvenuti or like Ione or someone that's on the outside centre. So
who was
just,
it was weird for me seeing McLean at 12.
Yeah, that was a bit.
He does play there quite a bit now.
He was playing quite well there, to be honest with you. It wasn't. He was ball carrying more than I expected from a guy who's not necessarily known for his ball carrying. The number 11 winger, I've forgotten his name now. He had a hairstyle similar to Campagnaro. Anyway, he, for me,
Venditti?
Yeah, it might have been. Kind of a bun / ponytail sort of thing going on.
Yeah, Venditti.
Yeah,
he's the one with like the beard and everything.
I rated him. That man was very strong on the run. Put him 1-on-1 against most wingers, and I think he'd be having a field day. He's a very, very strong ball carrier.
He didn't do that well when he was with Falcons last year. He hardly got a game for Falcons.
Oh, really?
He's he was at Falcons for a year or 2 years, and I hardly saw him play for them. Same with
Venditti.
Joshua Ferno.
I wonder if it's a language thing.
Venditti.
I wonder. I genuinely wonder if it's a language thing, because obviously Campagnaro took a year to kind of acclimatise. I know he was injured, but yeah, he didn't get the chances perhaps that he deserved. And I wonder if the coaches like to have it so that they've learnt enough English to be able to communicate quickly on the pitch. Because it is half of it.
How much English do you need to work as a winner or something like that? Because it's not really
left, right,
communicative role.
Left,
I
right.
think it's so.
Pass, yeah.
I think it's being able to communicate instantly when you're tired is the issue. Because obviously, when you get tired and in a frustrated situation, you may slip back into your natural language, which is fair enough because you're tired. But that's not necessarily the perfect thing if you're in a high pressure situation. You want to be able to communicate in the right language easily.
But surely you could grunt. I'm sure there'll be player forwards that'll just like grunt,
and you
and then
do
they'll
it
get
training
the ball.
day in day out. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But
So, I mean,
talking about
true,
language,
hopefully.
what do you think
Go
of
on.
Reece Webb and Sergio Parise?
Having a mouth off to the refs.
Yeah.
What was it? Angus Gardner?
No,
No, it wasn't Angus Gardner.
No, it was the France game.
Yeah,
England-France.
it was JP Doyle.
JP Doyle. What do I think? I think Parise does it all the time. Kind of gets away with it a little bit. But that's
Parise
kind
has
of
a history.
expected.
He has been sent off in France for insulting the referee.
Yeah, and he didn't really get away with it as much. He got away with it a little bit, and then he got called out on it. And Reece Webb basically got told to shut up quite a lot.
I didn't see the Reece Webb incident. I don't
also,
remember
we
it. I
heard
just
Reece
saw
Webb
that on the
swearing.
sub, but yeah,
We did hear Reece Webb swearing indirectly
towards the ref.
Well, kind of indirectly. He kind of said
yeah,
fucking
he
hell,
said
ref.
fucking hell, ref.
Which was
Which is not. It's yeah.
So get sent off like Dylan Hartley sort of thing.
I think
Yeah,
if he
it's
wasn't
not
such a it's
sending
the
off.
cheeky chappy thing, you know, he gets away with it because he's a smiley cheeky nine, rather than a grumpy hooker after a scrum.
Yeah.
I think he should not say that, but I don't think he should be sent off for that. He should be warned to check his language, and if he does it again, then he will get a yellow card or something. He didn't say "fuck you, ref,"
I feel like that was the only.
Between
yeah, that's true.
fucking
But I
hell.
feel like that was the one we picked up on. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe,
That's the one
yeah.
we heard on the mic.
Maybe he said it a few more times. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if we hear it on the mic, he might have previously said it.
I quite like when JP Dord just told. I think I missed the start of what happened, but you just see Parisi waving his arms in a cliche Italian manner, and which he really was doing. And then the referee is telling, "Stop complaining, move back, and I'll talk to you after."
Yeah,
That's
he didn't
so
take
good.
any shit, did he? It was quite useful.
It's like, I don't care that you're the captain. You move back, and then I'm gonna explain to you what happened, and then maybe you'll be allowed to talk, but not now.
Yeah.
Doyle had a tough game because you saw him getting smashed when Jonathan Davis got his try.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he got right back up and awarded the try. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he probably didn't even see
He
the
was
try
lead
being
blocking
awarded.
I
at
think
one
it
point,
was just
wasn't
it was just a trip. He wasn't. I don't think he was smashed, but he did fly a little bit.
I think he got pushed. It was like by one of the Italian defenders. It wasn't like intentional, but yeah, he did get pushed.
Talking of pushes, I saw a GIF of a Scottish player. I think it was Johnny Gray, shoving Sean O'Brien on the floor so he couldn't hit a ruck. Murray Kinsella was posting this GIF on Twitter and having a small moan about it. I kind of felt like the Irish were picking at, the straws, or just not grasping at straws is the phrase, because it did seem reasonably innocuous, but it was quite obvious that he just shoved Sean O'Brien straight onto the floor to stop him hitting the ruck, which was interesting.
You can't explain a man. You can't expect a man this tall to be in full control of what he does with his hands. They're too far away from his body.
There was a point where it was Richie Gray. Richie Gray literally put both his arms out to stop an offload, and it literally looked like he was encompassing all around the guy. There was no chance he was ever going to offload the ball. The wingspan was just ginormous.
There were a fair few niggly things in the Ireland-Scotland game that I noticed that the Poit seemed to miss. Like, I think Poit had a good game, but like with Poit, he always seems to miss a few things, and there were definitely, like, I think Scotland got off after a kick-off once. There was probably a penalty that he gave away, but like he just said play on to Ireland and didn't bother. Like, it was, I think it might have been after Stuart Hogg might have knocked it on. Like, after he scored the 2 tries, and then like the next kick-off he went and knocked it on, like when he tried to catch it, and then there was some bit around there, like where I think it was like there was clearly a Scottish player not rolling away or something like that, and there were several things like that. There were quite a lot.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's refereeing. We do talk about refs a reasonable amount on the podcast, but they're part of the game, so we're gonna.
But certainly let a few things go. Like, I think Tommy Bowe should have probably been carded for his high tackle later on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Yeah, like it was just we were given a penalty for that, and that's what we needed. But like they're trying to be tough on high tackles at the moment. That's like one of the ones like where it would be the high tackle under the old laws, and they're trying to be tough now. Yeah, they probably should give that a card, and then they're giving cards for people like grabbing on the shoulder and things like that.
Yeah. Well, there was also the dump tackle that everyone was moaning about.
With Johnny May and.
Well, that one as well. No, was it the Wales-Italian game as well?
I don't know. I know there was a card for Italy, but I didn't see that.
The card was at the scrum, wasn't it?
Yeah, the card was for the scrum, but there was a dump tackle.
I didn't see what it was for.
There was a penalty dump tackle, I think. It was.
It was the number 6 Bramstein or something like that. Dumped one of the.
Moriarty. He dumped Moriarty. Yeah.
He dumped Moriarty. Yeah.
I think the ref's wording was quite clear when he said, "Oh, he went down with him, so there was he had a duty of care and he performed that duty of care." So for me, everybody landed flat. There wasn't anything going over the horizontal. Yeah, his ankles were over the horizontal, but if you're sat on a chair, your ankles are in front of you anyway. It's not like his back or his hips. He wasn't pile drived into the floor, and he came down with him. So for me, that was a clean tackle. It's just unfortunate that perhaps he didn't have the ball and wasn't really tensed anymore. So that was a little bit unlucky to get a penalty against that. But anyway, refs. Fred, have you got anything you want to talk about?
No, that's basically it.
I think I think we're probably playing
I
this
want
one.
to bring up.
Go on, Ewan.
I want to bring up something quickly. I was just looking at a few teams of the week, and ESPN have a funny one. They've got Best and Itoji at 6 on in their team of the week, which I thought is a bit weird. Yeah, why would they pick that? Like it's that is definitely one of the funniest choices
They
I've
probably
seen
didn't
for.
watch the games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
They just picked out names
They've
that we
picked
would
on
have thought would be
stats,
in
I
the
think.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me,
definitely.
best definitely wasn't the best. I think Ken Owens possibly would be the best hooker
Yeah.
from the weekend. To be honest with you, maybe Jamie George.
Did Gerardo have a good game?
Yes, he did, but he wasn't his usual self, being everywhere and smashing into everyone.
Wasn't like a standout. Yeah.
So he's not the best, just based against himself, sort of thing.
No, yeah. So he had a very decent game. Didn't really shine, and as far as I know, his lineouts worked quite well.
Yeah.
But that needs to be checked. I don't remember the stats. Jamie George obviously is, I think is my favourite hooker, just from the way he looks and the way he plays, because they're so different.
The way. I love the fact that we love the way he looks. I'm fully on board with that. I agree with it.
He
sort of barrel look.
He looks like
He's
the
just a
opposite
barrel.
of the player he is.
Yeah, he does. He's
a
complete. He
super
looks like he's
skilled,
round.
intelligent player that looks like a bull. It's just
You'd expect him to play more like Keith Wood did. I don't know if that's really an insult.
to be blowing after 2 minutes and wanting to scrum and eat bacon rolls.
Rather than scoring 2 tries in a Premiership final, sort of like.
Exactly, rather than
and grubber
putting
kicking and
rubber kicks
offloading.
through and awesome offload and passes and just his general game. That's awesome.
Did everybody see that when he was on the left wing and Mullen had the ball? He was appealing for a kick through. He was genuinely Mullen had the ball. It was a 2-on-2 situation, and Jamie George has his left hand in the air appealing for a kick through. And I was just thinking to myself, if Mullen gave that would be one of the best tries I've ever seen in my life.
I would not be mad about that.
It would have been fantastic.
It's so funny.
He should have taken inspiration from John Welsh and his little chip kick
That was
antics.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. That got called back, didn't it?
I don't think it got called back, but they didn't actually get a score from it.
The
it was
fullback
close,
was
but
too quick, wasn't it? Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. It was Anthony Watson covering it, so yeah, he got it or something.
Yeah. Let down. But yeah, I remember that moment as well. The chip. It was a perfect little kick through as well. Anyway, that's what the front row dream of. So maybe next, maybe against Italy, Matt Mullen and Jamie George can combine and have some grubber kick competitions. I'm excited about that.
On that note, what do we have next week? So we have Wales, England.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland, France.
Okay, it's Scotland, France. Oh, is it in Murrayfield?
Ireland, Italy.
No, it's at Stade de France.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's fine. Again, we can win.
The Scotsmen are talking about how this is like Scotland's first chance in ages to win there, but we'll see.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I think it's tough because you would have won. You would have won last year if you'd come to Stade de France.
Yeah, and the year before that we came pretty close. Yeah. Like it was like Visser got a try, and I think it was Euan Murray got a try on the win, which was something weird. But we I think we were winning, and then we sort of fell away in the second half, which was annoying.
Is Visser fully injured?
No, I don't think he's injured. He's just not preferred to Maitland and Seymour.
All right. I mean, he's playing in an underperforming Quins team, so any chance we get to talk about Quins being shit.
Yeah, Ed seems to still rave about him, and like he thinks, I think he thinks that he's sort of pulling him up a little bit, but like probably not enough to get picked.
I mean,
should we have our predictions?
Our predictions for next week.
Yeah.
I don't know who to predict between Scotland and France.
Yeah.
I think
both been
I
better.
still think the French will win actually at home. I'm sorry, Euan.
I'll be optimistic. I'll go for a Scottish win.
I'm
Yeah.
going obviously for
Just edge
French
it.
win.
You're going for a French win as well, so I'm really
close
the 50.
win, say 6 points.
Oh, I
6
think
point win.
so. I'll
20,
revise my prediction.
27-21.
I'll revise my prediction. If Scotland, by some miracle, manage to win the collisions against a massive French team, their backs will run riot, and it will be a high-scoring game to Scotland. Otherwise, it's going to be a very.
I think we did.
I think it will be a very small margin of win for France. Otherwise,
I think so. France by 6. Right.
Scotland by 3, I'll say.
Scotland by 3.
What about the other games?
Wales, England.
Wales, England. And that's in Wales.
That's in Wales, yeah.
Is it late at night again? 30 points to 3 sort of scoreline we're looking for?
No.
Nah.
I'm looking at an England wing, obviously. I don't even know what the lineup for the
Probably
backs
England.
is, but I'm going for an England win.
Yeah, probably England.
I'm thinking England win by 2.
By 2.
Yeah, close.
It's going to be close.
I don't. I'm hoping we turn it round. I think Haskell might start, and
I think he will.
we might be a little bit stronger as a result of that. So I am wary that obviously Warburton, Tipperick, and Moriarty are a very good back row, but Haskell, Hughes, I don't know if Wood or Itoje will sit on the other flank. I think Itoje should go back to second row.
When's Thomas Young get a run out? Do you think Thomas Young will get a run out anytime soon? Or
I
not?
think playing
Probably
Thomas
not for
Young.
that
I think
game.
playing Thomas Young against Wales would be the funniest thing Eddie Jones could do.
No, Thomas Young for Wales.
Oh,
He's
he's in the Welsh
squad.
squad. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously,
Welsh.
Di Young's
Yeah.
his dad, but he was qualified, wasn't he, for England at one point?
Well,
Possibly,
Still
yeah.
is. He's not been capped, so he's qualified.
He's not been
for both.
capped. He's not been capped, but he's in the squad.
Yeah, so he's qualified for both.
It would. Well, I stand by my point that it would be hilarious if Eddie Jones asked him to step across and start for us. But obviously that's not going to happen.
Which he has more chances of doing than starting for Wales.
I
'Cause
don't
you know how the Welsh like
think
to
he'll get a run out for Wales.
Start. Yeah, I think Wales like to start their guy when the previous guy is exhausted, is 3 seasons behind his best, and has got 120 caps.
I feel bad for Thomas Young because I think he's actually one of the best flankers in the Premiership at the moment. Actually, thinking about it,
He is the best flanker in the Premiership.
yeah, he's certainly one of the best. I'm not going to say the best. He's not the best, but he's up there.
He is the best.
But I think that he deserves a shot. Maybe not against England though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
That's
against
not-
England. It's
that's
just
not the
because
best start,
I was
yeah.
asking because he did get a shot against Italy, and then that was expected there.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. They played Tipperick instead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but he could have been put on the bench for the Italy game because he can bring so much from the bench as well. I thought it was weird not to have him.
I mean,
Who was on the bench for Wales?
it was
so are we?
King-
We're backing England, right? Just to go back to the predictions quickly.
Yeah. So
the
England
other-
and Scotland Wales and Scotland to pick bonus losing points against France and England,
Okay.
and
And
Italy
Ireland to
to
beat
get
Italy.
nothing, and Ireland to put 45 points
Them
on
to the
Italy.
sword. I think Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland are going to be pissed
very
off.
pissed off. Yep.
Bonus point,
Yeah.
45 point win. It was sloppy first half, run right in the second.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking at this Ireland team, and yeah, Zebo will start, but I don't think he's going to score a load of tries. I might be wrong. I'm trying to give me a player that's going to score a load of tries that I can put in my fantasy team. I can't figure it out.
Zebo. I think Zebo.
You reckon Zebo?
Gary Vin.
Yeah. Or
Gary Ringrose.
CJ Standard's going to get 1 or 2.
Yeah, standard.
I'd say Gary Ringrose because he's got a bit of pace on him, and if he's like, I don't think he had the best game against Scotland, but like, it's the kind of game I could see him like getting a lot of ball and running around to the Italian defence.
Just to think things through though, if Campagnaro starts, I can see Ringrose being a weak link against Campagnaro, because Campagnaro is one of the strongest centres at the moment. That the man is built of muscle.
Do you lose fantasy points for like him dropping off a tackle?
Missed tackles, yeah. I think. Well, you do it Super Brew anyway.
I don't think they do it on ESPN. That's what I'm on.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so we've got Ireland, England, and France. Borderline. I mean, obviously.
Well, I've gone for Scotland.
We've got Scotland there. Yeah. Okay. Scotland losing bonus point at least, and Wales losing bonus point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And Ireland, the first team to get an attack bonus point of the tournament.
They could be the first team to get all the bonus points. They got a losing bonus point and a 4-try bonus point.
Yeah.
Imagine if we go this whole Six Nations and we don't get a single 4-try bonus point. Then, like, this is the first year they've introduced it, and then like it doesn't happen. Like, yeah,
that would be
that would actually be hilarious.
Nobody utilising.
And everyone gets a losing bonus point bar Italy at all games.
So it just drives Italy further and further away from the competition. Is that the?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That would be a weird side effect. Actually, that would be quite brutal.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would make angry people angrier.
Right, the music's definitely playing now.
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is. So talk to us about Police On while the music's playing, Fred.
Oh no.
No.
Don't.
Should you be singing his praises? The young French maestro.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings.
Just
he's
go
the,
to hell.
He's the new Michalak.
Oh God. It's like I'm being repeatedly stabbed.
Can you cope with that?
And now he's going to start that Chanduk being injured. And there's always Dusan.
I'm sure he can get stabbed away from Dr.
Yeah, Dusan is going to be our Lord and Saviour.
Also, can we? Well, I mean, the music's still playing. We can cut this bit. But Noel kicking the ball back, I was quite worried.
What an idiot!
I was quite worried.
Moron.
I was quite worried. I defended it in the thread, but I was very worried.
Why? Why did he do that? That was so stupid.
Because he didn't want to give. He didn't want to give
left.
a penalty. He didn't want to give a penalty away.
Oh yeah.
That was the idea. Yeah. Great. You pinned them back.
I was laughing at the fact that we're going to get the ball out of that, but I was almost gutted for the England fans next to me.
I was just like, oh my God, no.
And they
see if France got in a position to score, do you think they would have went for the draw, or do you think they would have went for the win?
Ooh. Depends on
because they're only 3 points behind.
Because it was going to be Dusan and he was going to miss that, so go for it.
Yeah.
No, give it to Spet. You'd have given it to Spedding, surely.
Depends on how far it is. If it's far away, Spedding.
I actually think that Daly is a better kicker than George Ford.
It could be, but the thing is, so I think the long range kickers, managers like Spedding and Daly and Hogg, they get them from far away because they're not expected to make those kicks.
Before.
Less pressure.
So there's a lot less pressure because no one expects you to make it. So if you make it, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Make it, you're a hero. If you don't make it,
all right, sure. So
doesn't
press
matter.
the big yellow button.
It's kind of like taking a drop kick after an advantage.
A kick to the quote unquote kick to nothing. Yeah. Right. I'm actually gonna have to cut this because I've got to go.
Yeah. So do I. All right.
Right. Let's stop that. Press the big yellow button. Awesome.